Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Pam's HarvestCraft. I am super excited about today's episode because I've been doing a lot of preparing for it. I've been gathering resources pretty much all week, coming home from work, getting stuff done. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been getting a lot of sand and gravel from the local lake, which has made it look a little bit strange. Well, this is looking supremely tragic. I've also been gathering a lot of jungle leaves from our local jungle on my horse, which has unfortunately left some of the jungle trees looking a little bit bare. Oops. And then I remembered, of course, I live next to a swamp which has a whole bunch of jungle trees. And ended up collecting a bunch of fruit as well, which is for this big project here. Now this probably isn't big for, people who've seen people do mega builds, but this is pretty big for me. This is probably the biggest build I'll have ever done in survival, and I just can't wait to get on with it. So very shortly we're going to pop into a time lapse, but I thought I'd introduce you guys to my two little special friends. Unfortunately the owner left them behind, so I'm thinking about calling them Milky and Cream, but they're my llamas, guys. But without much further ado or any of that kind of stuff, let us get stuck into it and build a greenhouse. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. It was really fun, but it did take a while. My goodness, I spent most of Saturday doing this, and you probably saw me doing the front and a bit of the side as well. And I realised I made quite a few counting errors as we were going, because originally this bit is how it should be, but this bit was supposed to be a couple of blocks shorter, and I'd actually done the middle bit quite a bit differently. So when I realized I'd made that mistake, I was like, meh, I'll just go with it and actually just make it how it is, which meant that I actually also had to redesign this front bit here, because obviously the bit in the middle here was just originally like a 1 block gap, and the reason I'd done that was that it would actually fit inside the wall, which has made quite an interesting conundrum, but I think I've solved it quite efficiently. So if we go inside, so originally it was only supposed to kind of jut up against the wall, but what's ended up happening is that the wall has kind of amalgamated itself into the build, and like part of the wall here, you can see what I'm kind of doing is I decided that I wanted to have a tree that kind of almost wrapped itself around like an old piece of wall, as if these people had kind of like decided, okay, we'll just build around the walls the building that we want and kind of preserve them inside this kind of greenhouse. So we've got bits here, where you can see out into the what will be hopefully a beautiful sunset and bits of the wall have been kind of preserved. We'll go outside in a second and I'll show you what I've done on the outside as well, but I'm actually happy with it overall, even though there were like a few mistakes. I'm not sure that I'm happy with this tree just yet. But what I have done is I've dug around it, and this is actually going to be like a little pond eventually with this kind of like massive jungle tree that's going to go all the way up there in it. But let's just go and sleep quickly. Now, if we take ourselves on the outside of the wall, I can show you what I've done around here. I ended up building one of these, growing one of those big trees, which is why I now have podzol everywhere, which is a little bit annoying, but we can probably get rid of that now if we go up on the wall here. Just make sure there's no nasties. Now, you guys might remember, and especially if any of you watch my stream, that there used to be a massive, great big hole here. And what I ended up doing is filling it in. Don't worry, it's 2 blocks deep, and then there's torches underneath to kind of stop mob spawning, but that just kind of got rid of that like slightly annoying hole that's here. And what I've done on the outside here is there's lots of pumpkins. You can probably see one there hidden. And then I've added some bushes, as if on the outside it's like, you know, not as well looked after, and it's like a bit overgrown, but I quite like the look of that actually. It looks really nice with bits of the wall kind of become part of the building, but the glass is still there. It all looks like that around this side as well. So if we go around here, you can see like this is a bit where there was going to be a tower here originally, but I really like how the greenhouse has kind of overtaken it. You know, this wall is looking kind of like it's really decrepit and old, and the people here have preserved it as well as they can, but they still had to do their own kind of modern buildings. Now, if we come through the town and have a look at it, it's looking pretty good, apart from obviously the yellow wall that's everywhere, but that is there for a reason. I'll explain what this is for in a bit. But the next bit I want to work on is I actually want to have like an entrance way here, and it's going to be different to that side in that there's going to be like a building here that the greenhouse kind of like goes into, and that's obviously also to stop these guys from escaping in here. So I think we'll start building that next. So I've made a start on the building, and I decided to have a go with these, what are they called, composters, as the base block, just so that it kind of differentiated itself from the greenhouse. Now, it's going to be quite interesting, this one, because the roof is not super simple, but I'm going to have a go and see if I can remember it. I've got the photograph open next to me on my other monitor just to help in case I get a bit stuck. But we're going to kind of do a half slab roof, which I always find really tricky because I never seem to be able to get it to look right. And it's going to start kind of there. Now, let me see. I'm going to need a lot more half slabs than that. So we're probably going to have to cut down some of those trees as well. I'm going to put a cross beam just there. I think that was right. Excellent. Now this little building here is actually going to be kind of like a clippings area, like a potting station. So when you come in, like this would be where the people who, like the botanists, that's they are the people, the botanists would work, you know, getting the clippings of the flowers and things and getting ready to move them into the big greenhouse where they would grow. And this one is going to be a tropical greenhouse. I didn't actually mention it before, guys, but this is actually based on a real greenhouse that exists in a place called Kew Gardens, which is spelled K-E-W. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can check it out. But I absolutely love Kew Gardens. It is like, honestly, for me, you know, for some people like love Disney World, but I'm like all about going to visit like botanical gardens and zoos and things. I think they are like the greatest places on the earth. So any place I go to, even if you can't get to Kew Gardens, which is like absolutely amazing, loads of places have botanical gardens. There's probably one in your local area that you could go to, and I honestly recommend it if you've never been to a botanical gardens before, because it's amazing what kind of conservation work actually people in botanical gardens do. Because you know, when you think about conservation, you're always thinking about animals and making sure that animals are being looked after properly, but there's a lot of endangered plants in the world as well, and they do a lot of that kind of work in these kind of greenhouses, where I've even seen a tree in Kew Gardens that was in the temperate greenhouse that was like, there's literally like 2 of them left in the world, like they're so rare, and they actually found one like randomly in a jungle, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, you know, just making sure that these plants are preserved for future generations. And that's kind of what we're going to do here in this greenhouse. So this little building's fairly important because it is going to make sure that they are doing that preservation work on the plants and kind of keeping them in a good condition, and maybe even making some crossbreeds as well, which is why I got a bunch of fruits and things like from the swamp, because we're going to have a couple of hybrid trees in here, and this is where we're going to grow like the unusual things like dragon fruit and durian and kind of whatever else I can find. So this is looking a little bit odd at the moment, and that's because I haven't actually added any of the kind of sloped roofing. So I'm going to trim this all down first, what we call stripping it. I'm having trouble with words today, guys. What are words? An old classic catchphrase if you watched my channel from before. I'm going to strip this down, and then we're going to add the actual blocks that are going to frame it. If I do the little bit at the front, then we'll kind of more easily see what it's supposed to look like. Let's take this down. Another small miscalculation. I was looking at this and thinking there's just something not quite right about it, and I actually made it one block too tall. But now it looks fine. That was an easy mistake to fix, and I'm going to start doing the roof in a bit. I'm actually leaving these open because I want there to be glass here that's going to finish off this section of the greenhouse, and then we'll actually be able to see through this bit, and that will also form part of the balcony as well. But I thought we'd come inside here, ignore the spooky cave sounds, and actually work on the walls. So I put that pumpkin in there just to like light up that little area back there to stop it being full of horrible nasty things, which we don't like. And let's grab all these different kinds of stones so we can do a little bit of texturing. I'm gonna have a bit of this here. I was gonna have a window here, but there isn't really much point unless we have it like on the leaves there. So let's do that actually. Let's just whack in some of this, bit of smooth stone, and then we'll have like a little window there. And then obviously we can't have a window here because there's a bit of a wall there, but we can sort of fill this in. And maybe let's have, where we're going to have windows, I'll put one of these to kind of signify where they should be. And I'm going to have the door at the side here so that I've got more room to put plants and stuff down here. So let's have that like this. I like a bit of texturing because it just makes it look that little bit nicer. There we go. So that's going to be the door, and then we'll fill this in all along here. And I might put some windows in here. Actually, it'd be quite nice to be able to see our little friends in here. So let's have a window in this bit here. I'm going to change this out and before any of them escape. And that can be a window. So if we go along 1, 2, 3, where could we put another one? 1, 2, 3. Let's put another one here maybe. 2 block gap, is that going to work? 2 block gap, another one. Oh, it does. I love it when these things work out, and then we can have another window there. That'll be quite nice actually. Looks like it's getting towards nighttime, so I better sleep and then I'll finish this off. Right, we're on the home stretch, guys. I just need to get some glass. Oh yeah, put some in here as well, nice. Cooked it up so that I can add a little bit of white dye to it. Let's have a look at it. So I've started working on the bit that goes up here. You can see I finished the walls and things. And we're going to need a little bit of glass to stick in these windows. And I can look at my donkeys and my horses and my llamas. Yay. And then all of this is going to have like a little laboratory in it. I can't wait to start decorating the inside of this. We might not fully get to that this episode, but I'm certainly going to make a start on it. So let's grab ourselves a little bit of white dye from in here. Right, there we go. We've got a bit of white stained clay, not clay, what am I about? This is glass. And we're going to go up here. I've got to look at my picture very carefully to make sure I don't mess this up. So there's going to be 3 pieces of glass here. 1, 2, 3. I'm using full blocks for this in quite a few places to save on resources. I just used the panes because that means that obviously like we're not wasting stuff. So there needs to be a piece of glass here. I might go one down with that and put a piece of glass there, but I'll have a think about that. Piece of glass here, one here, and then this one goes inside like this. Great. Right, I'll just do that top bit and then I think we're finished. Right, so I've started working on the inside part, and you can see the balcony is starting to come together now. I've built this up here, and I've built kind of a staircase, although I'm not really sure about it at the moment. I'm going to leave that for a little bit and see how that turns out. But I have brought quite a lot of trapdoors and things with me, and a few flowers and things to just start thinking about what I'm going to be doing for decoration. I did quite a lot of these kind of dirt stands. And I want this area to be sort of slightly separated from here, but like have like a couple of places where you can walk through. So I might stagger these back. Let's have another one over here actually. Let's have a 3 here. And this can be another place where like people are growing stuff. And I've got a place there for plants to go as well. I quite like these chocolate bar trapdoors. They look quite nice as things. And then I wanted to have some tables at the back here where we can put some pots on. So, and actually I might see if we can get let's get a piece of dirt there. And then we'll have a table coming along like that. And maybe for the end of the table we could cover that bit up and that bit up. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. And then we can have an actual flower growing there as well as some kind of pots along there. Let's do another one over here. And these are going to be the kind of places where I guess they're just going to have like the clippings and stuff. I did a lot of culling as well of my poor cows. I bred them up and culled them a little bit, so we've got lots of item frames to play with as well. So let's put some up here, and these can be kind of places where we'll have like clippings and things. So maybe let's have another one over here as well. I think vines would be quite a good thing to put in some of those. Now I'm gonna have some 2-high flowers around. An orchid's kind of a sensible one to have. Actually, maybe let's switch out the orchid and have one of these growing here. That might be quite nice, like a piece of bamboo that's getting ready to be moved. Oh yeah, that looks nice actually. Then we could have some smaller bits of bamboo. It's just a bit of a shame that there's not many kind of tropical plants in Minecraft. Like a lot of them just seem to be kind of like ones you'd get in temperate places. Apart from like the melons and stuff. I want to put a melon somewhere. As if it's being studied. Let's put a melon here, shall we? Maybe we could even have like a melon in an item frame like above it. I love having my emergency melon. Just in case of emergencies. Gotta have your melon. Oh, this is starting to come together quite nicely now actually. So we need some flower pots. Especially to put like jungle saplings and things in, because that would be like a logical thing to have here. And a little bit more on the lighting side as well. I'm going to think about like how we can kind of, because this area here is like a little bit dark. For now, we'll stick that there. And yeah, it's not looking too bad. Actually, let's go up the top and I'll show you guys what it looks like when we come up here as well. And what we have here is I put these here, and do you know what? Let's just orchidify them. Let's just have orchids be quite nice up here, and maybe I might stick some plants in between because the blue kind of goes with this. This is like, maybe we could even call this like the blue orchid temperate house. That might be quite interesting. The cyan orchid temperate house. Well, it's not temperate, is it? Tropical house. That's what it is, because this is for tropical flowers, which is not these. I'm gonna work on the tree for a little bit and see if I can get it into a sensible looking shape as well. So I didn't end up working on the tree because I actually realised I've run out of jungle wood. So I'm going to need to make a little trip back to the jungle and cut down some more trees. Although I suppose I could get them from the swamp as well, actually, which is over in that direction. What I have been working on instead is I've started extending the walkway. And I actually want it to come across this way and along here instead, rather than wrapping around the corner, so that you get different views and things. And I've started to till some of the soil, because in a minute we're actually going to go and get some of the fruits and vegetables and things that we have that are from the tropical gardens. I can't believe I placed that the wrong way up. I'm sorry guys that you can hear some very, very loud mobs. I always have my mob sounds turned up really loud, so if they're in like a cave below me, I'm like, yep, I know about that. I can hear you, Mr. Spider, and all your little friends, all your little creepy friends. But that's fine, we'll ignore that. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to sleep, and then we'll go and grab ourselves some tasty, tasty things. Right, the morning is nigh. I think I should have just about enough space. Let's dump some stuff. I've been putting things in some of the chests up here just to kind of get them out of the way. So we'll want some dirt and scaffolding. I was going to make a table with scaffolding as well. Actually, I might do that quickly before we go. That was one of the ideas I had, was to make like a little like display with some scaffolding and maybe a little bit of this as well, just to kind of close that in. So we'll see what that looks like. But let's dump some of this in here, just so we've got enough room for tasty, tasty treats. Right, let's go see what we've got. Oh, my horses keep escaping. Let's put you back where you belong. In fact, you can come with me. Let's go for a ride down here, and you can enjoy a little bit of time out of your stable. Now, I think knaf is this stuff here. Yeah, that's right. Is one of the things that you can get in the tropical gardens. I've actually been planting a lot of extra stuff just to add a little bit of colour to the wheat field. Let's grab a bit more knaf actually. So that is, hello. That's one of the things you can get, and obviously pineapples. Let's go get some of these. Sesame, pineapple was one of the things that you get. Here's the sesame, that's one of them. What else was there? Coffee beans. I might put some coffee beans because it just looks like quite a nice plant actually. What was this? That's ginger and spice leaf. I don't think they don't come from the tropical gardens, even though they sound kind of tropical, but aubergines do. So let's grab that, not place a torch. Let's grab some aubergines. Eggplants to you guys. And what else was there? There's some things that I don't have. Oh yeah, we'll probably need some cocoa beans actually. Let's just take a couple with us. Eventually when I get some more jungle wood I can add them in. There was I wonder if I've put them in here somewhere. There are these. No, I didn't. They might be in the house, actually. So there was some other stuff that I haven't planted yet because I wasn't really sure what it was. What are you doing here? I told you guys these guys keep escaping. How did you get all the way over here without me noticing? I'm going to put them back in a bit. Right, so I should have, here we go, some arrowroot. That definitely comes from a tropical garden. So does taro as well. So these could be quite interesting to grow. So let's take them over. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. And soybean as well. Come with me, Diddum. I love that he's managed to wander all the way over there. So we're going to grab some soybeans as well, because that is also a tropical thing. And let's take Diddum all the way back over here, shall we? Diddum's quite slow, actually. Right, in you go, you ridiculous donkey, and I'll go get the other horse in a bit. I am going to have to do something about that because they do seem to be able to escape quite easily. Alright, so let's try. I think we should probably put some of these ones over there because I really want to see what they look like. They might not necessarily stay here, but I want to get a few of them so that I can choose where they go. It'd be interesting to see what they look like. The knaff looks quite cool, actually, so we can put that somewhere around here. I'd quite like to have a few elevated gardens because I don't like everything just being on the same level on the ground. It would look quite nice if they actually went up. And the other thing I did, actually, guys, is I made a little pond around here, which is one of the things I said I was going to do. Bone mealed it a bit, so we've got some sort of seaweed, and you can actually walk around it because of all of those on it. And I put a few vines up as well, just to kind of add to that kind of jungly feeling. So let's pop these in here. Good thing to have to build with these, because you can use them for storage. Amazing. So stick all of those in there. And I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I've got to go and do a lot more resource gathering so that I can make this tree. And then what I'm actually going to do is start doing a bit of hybriding. And my idea was to have, let me just grab these actually, it was to have the dragon fruit and the durian. And then I also grabbed these as well. So I'm going to make my own custom banana tree, maybe a fig tree, and any of those things that kind of would grow in a tropical place. And I think that that will just add so much colour and texture and variety in here. And I really just want to showcase a lot of kind of Pam's fruits and things, because I think as well as having them for eating with, I mean, they look beautiful, you know, you should celebrate them and decorate with them. But that is going to be it for today, guys. I've got my spiky fig in my hand there. We are going to be doing more greenhouses because obviously this place is all about a celebration of the wonderful fruits and vegetables that we can eat in this game. So there's going to be an arid greenhouse where you can see the cactuses behind me there. And an arid greenhouse is kind of like a dry one, which is for kind of deserty things. And we're also going to have a temperate greenhouse, which is going to be for things like maples, you know, those things that would grow in this kind of climate, but maybe you want them to grow all year round. So this place is going to be looking up lots of more shops and lots of beautiful places to grow things. So I will catch you guys in the next episode.